Welcome. And welcome to the show. I'm back with a new trim. People are telling me I look like fucking Pedro Neto now. Went from Bruno Fernandez to Pedro Neto and within one trim. But welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. So today I figured we do a little bit of investigating, to say the least. I think today is an investigative day because I feel like we've been given the name of the player that we're probably going to end up getting. Jeremy Jaquet. Now, before I get into this and I get into the aspects of this that and as soon as we get into the aspects of of what others think of Jaquet, I want to go through what I think of Jaquet. Okay, because I'm gonna write my own scouting report on them too. Like I actually to surprise everyone, this was one of the players that I was scouting. This was one of the players that I personally went out of my way to go watch multiple of his games over the last, I would say, 3 months. I probably watched 8, 9 games of him. So I'm actually this was actually one of the. Oh, I'll pull up the suit and everything in here in a little bit of what I was wearing and stuff from my wedding. We'll do that later once I get done with what I was thinking about. Big up Yasir, appreciate you, my G. Big up Yasir, thank you for the raid, my bro. Thank you for the raid. So I wanted to get into Jaquet. I think that you guys, a lot of my subscribers, they come here because they respect my ball acumen. So what I want to do is I want to provide you what my knowledge of this ball acumen was. No, JK, I was not getting married. One of my best friends was getting married. It was a dope wedding. It was an unbelievable wedding. I couldn't honestly, I know my boy, he didn't pay for that wedding. I know my boy. He did not pay for that wedding. That wedding was paid by the bride and groom's fucking mom and dad, which I've also met. Shit was crazy. Shit was nuts, bro. It was an absolute crazy, crazy, crazy fucking wedding. Probably 60 to 100K spent on that shit. That shit was crazy. Okay, so what I the platform that we're gonna use today, yo, don't get it twisted. Don't get this shit twisted. My night are ended. Shit's, you know what I'm saying? Shit's done. So my shit's ended. Everything's last night is gone out the door. Just put it that way. Marlon, that night, this morning is gone out the door. That's all I gotta say. Gone and out the door. That's all you gotta understand from there. Last night is gone and out the door. That's all I can say from here. Alright? We don't gotta go much further. I got people who watch me on this channel who was at that wedding. Like, let's stop there. All right. So today, for the start of our analysis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a website that is being that's been quite useful to me in comparing my analysis. This is called TFA, Total Football Analysis. This is just a scout who created his own website. It's actually a series of scouts who created their own website. And I tend to find it being the information on it is very good for the most part. They actually put eyes on the player and not just football breath comparison and all that. We'll talk about the price as well, Aya. We'll talk about the price, but let's get into first what he provides. What's the style of player that we're talking about? Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up real quick. Oh, got my there we go. All right. So Jeremy Jaquet, this is the chart that I wanted to bring in. Okay, this is the chart that I wanted to bring in. Okay, so a lot of these duels don't mean shit. Okay, a lot of these stats don't mean shit. So like goal contributions not necessary, shots not necessary, dribbles per 90. Percentage of dribbles per 90 is actually crazy. It's actually crazy. Bro, Takori, we'll get there, bro. We'll get there. And by the way, if you compare him to Chalaba, you are that's pathetic of you, Takori. I'm gonna be very honest with you. That's pathetic of you to be able to compare him to Chalaba is very pathetic of you. Because just this right here, just this stat right here, the aerial duels won. The aerial duels won. Just this stat right here changes everything compared to what Trev can do. It changes everything. This is Trev's weakest area on the field. And by the way, the biggest complaints that I have of Trevor Chalaba are two. One, can't pass with his left foot. Never could. Two, historically, he has an under 50% aerial duel percentage. Historically, he has an under 50%. This is closer to what we would have want from Wes. That's the best way I can describe it. All right. Defensive duels won. That's an interesting stat, the 21%. When I watch him, he doesn't get into a lot of duels. The reason I say that is because he reads the game pretty well. Like he gets into situations where he's intercepting the ball more than he is like getting into one-on-one scenarios. Very front-footed, very front-footed, and honestly, if you guys don't know yet, I've watched, like I said, I watched him play. I'll probably say closer to 8-ish games. He's 6'5". I've watched him play about 8 games, and each striker 6'2". Nah, I think he's 6'3", 6'4", bro. Like he does not look 6'2". He looks way taller than 6'2". Way taller than 6'2". Penicelli's 6'1", 6'2", and he had at least 2 inches on him. He had at least 2 inches on him. Like at least. And that's where I was gonna go towards right now. Remember when everybody said, oh, why are we buying Omega? Why are we buying Omega? Panicelli's the better striker. Everyone was telling me this. Like I'm not the one who watches Strasbourg every week. I'm not watching them right now because I woke up. I just woke up recently, so it's okay. I don't mind missing 1 or 2 games. But this guy put Panicelli in handcuffs, put him in the back of the car. He sat in the back of the car for 90 minutes, let him get out of the back of the car after 90 minutes, and then he was lost. He dropped him off at the subway station. Lost. Well, you kind of can if you know the height of other players. Like you can tell the height. You can actually you can actually tell the difference between 2 inches if you actually see them next to other players. So like I don't really know what you mean by that. Um, Kurt Zuma is a name that you could use. Like if you're talking about Kurt, you're talking about a young Kurt, like when he first hit the scene. That's really what this is. He's a better passer than Kurt ever was, though. That's the thing. Is like his on the ball, and his passing is way better than Kurt's was. This is one of them. This is one of them. Yeah, before the knee for sure. This is one of them center backs that you will say 2 years from now, why don't we go and get this guy? Because if we don't get him, that's what's going to happen. That's just what's going to happen. We're going to sit here in 2 years saying, why didn't we get this guy? There's a reason why every team in fucking football wants him right now. It's just, that's just the nature of it. Every team in football wants him right now. And there's a reason for it. There is a reason for it. All right, Foot Mob. Let's compare it. So I'm going to give you guys the opportunity. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to give me some names. Okay? So I want you guys to go in the chat. I want you to give me names of players that you would have you prefer over this center back. So you guys want this. You guys want this center back. You guys want every center back outside of whoever we name, right? So I want every one of you to go in the chat right now, and I want you to give me names of center backs I can compare to Jaquet for. Okay, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna let it push for a little bit. Let it push for a little bit. You guys give me more names. We have 44 people here. I don't even know how many likes we have. Solomon, how many likes we have, bro? Probably not enough. So I'm gonna take a step away. I'm gonna come back, and I want to see the names of the players that you want me to compare this guy to, and I need the like button. We got 6 likes and 40 something people here. It has to be better. It has to be better. Only 19, 21 likes. We almost halfway. I need 30 likes. 30 likes. Give me the 30 likes. I'm gonna be right back. Where are we at? Aya, where are we at? Chat, where are we at? How many likes do we got? How many likes we got? How many likes we got? We're 2 likes away. I need 30 likes. Happy New Year's, copycat. I need 2 likes for us to get to 30. You let me know when we're at 30. I'm not going to check. You let me know when we're at 30. $31. All right. Let's get going. All right. See, it took you guys, as long as it took for you guys to get me to 30, I rolled a spliff. You see how good at it? You see how that works? 1 second here. Why am I blanking on the website? I can't, why am I'm just waking up. Why am I blanking on this website? What's the website that, I'm blanking big time. Ah, there it is. Never mind. I just blanked for some reason. All right, cool. Nah, I was looking for data MB. All right. So I'm gonna write down a bunch of these names real quick. So we have Schlotterbeck, we have Lenny Yoro, and I want to do. I like that Lenny Yoro call out to Corey. We're gonna do that. I want to do Lenny Yoro before he got to United. I saw Pacho in there. Bastoni. Why are my pens dying? All my pens just died on me in one fucking city. Bastoni. Colwell. Gahey. I like those are great names, by the way, guys. Great names. Cool. We can do Kubasi too. Big up, Mafia. We can do Kubasi. That would be his peer in age bracket, so we can definitely do Kubasi. All right, let's open this up real quick. So we're gonna use stats to compare to what I said earlier, and show you with my eyes. Now I'm gonna be very clear about this player right here, Mr. J Show, okay? Because I don't think people understand the circumstance with this player. So we will never get this player under any circumstances unless Real Madrid say otherwise. Okay, there's a reason why that's the case. Okay, these players that go to Como Real Madrid know it's basically a long-term loan. So basically, what they have done over there, it's it's pretty much a loophole to their system. Instead of having their academy players leave and go to different Spanish teams, and then they're kind of SOL, they send them to Como. They tell Como, we'll give you a good price on this player, but we want the buyback to be the same price that you bought him for. So just like Nico Paz. Nico Paz was bought for $6 million. This summer, Tottenham bid $70 million for Nico Paz. Real Madrid has first refusal, and they have a buyback for $6 million. So really, all this is for Real Madrid is a long-term loan for Ramon. Okay, so Nico Paz, Ramon, they're pretty much a long-term loan with Como, where it's like Como owns them. Don't get it twisted. But Real Madrid has first refusal of a deal, and they have a buyback clause that's was the initial price that they were sold for. So it's almost like you can't touch those players. That Ramon player is like impossible to touch because Real Madrid will just snap him back up. And he's only been there for 6 months. So it's not really like a sample size, I would say, that's really like that proves anything. I've watched a lot of the guy. I think he's a good passer of the ball. He's actually very tall too. He's probably around 6'3", 6'4" as well. And my problem with him overall is just like the physical battles that the Premier League brings. He doesn't really have a lot of big strikers that he has to deal with outside of when he had to play Napoli. And when he had to play Napoli, Højlund and Lukaku had ragdolled the fuck out of him. So I'm I'm gonna avoid that one specifically. I think that's actually another good name. People don't realize how big of a prospect Leone actually was before he ended up at Liverpool. But that's a good name. So let's put our baseline in. And we will go into price points and all that here in a second. Okay. All right, cool. Big up, guys. Big up, everyone coming through. We appreciate you guys joining us. All right, first name. The first names that I want to do are I want to do the English center backs. So we're going to compare them to Gahey, and we're going to compare them to our own. Okay? Trev and Colwell. Those are going to be the 3 stat points that I'm going to pull up here, all right? Okay, so when I do that, I'm gonna use Ordonez as well, but I'm gonna use Ordonez. I'm gonna put him in the same bracket as like the youth, right? The youth players that are around his age. I'm gonna use Ordonez in there too. Okay, so let's just go through it. Let's use Trevor. Trevor. Colwell. Yeah, it's Colwell. All right. So first, right? First thing I want to do is I want to highlight who we have. Okay? I want to highlight who we have first. Okay? So who we have first is the yellow and the red. So we're going to knock off this real quick, and we're going to knock off this real quick. So this is who we have currently. Okay? If everyone looks, without Levi, right? Without Levi, aerially it gets dark. And we don't need to pull up Fofana because we know what Fofana's about. And plus, we never know if Fofana's actually healthy or not. Okay. Amount of forward passes. Trevor Chalobah is doing great with the percentage of forward passes, but those forward passes are not progressive passes, as you can see. Okay. Possession 1, Trevor has done a really good job, but obviously you can see the progressive passer in this team is Levi. Okay. Let's eliminate Levi because we haven't seen Levi this year. So let's do Tosin. I think you have to do I can't spell that name. Nah, we not doing Tosin. We don't even play Tosin. One sec. Let me try that. There he goes. All right, so this is this is the situation. It's okay. Yeah, we could throw Josh in there too. Why not? Why not? Why not? It's at Chem. I don't know how to spell that. You gotta have to put the spelling in the title for me. Don't ask me to pronounce it. So guys, tell me what the issue is with this. And we're not gonna even do Tosin. Tosin's played 700 minutes this year, but we're not doing Tosin. Tell me the problem with this. Tell me the problem with this. When people look at this map right here, I want the chat to tell me what the problem with this map right here. Without looking at who's who. Tell me what the problem is here. So you're telling me, okay? So you're telling me we want to play a system with ball playing center backs. A system with ball playing center backs. Forget the duels for a second, because the duels, it's a skewed data point. It's a very skewed data point. Duels are a very skewed data points based off of what you consider a duel. Truly, it's based off of that. So, like, the duels is not the problem. When we have the ball, what's the problem? When we have the ball, what's the problem? Progression. Progression's the problem. When the center backs have the ball, what do they do? This is our starting back. This is our their starting center backs. These are our two starting center backs, and look at the progression. Look at the aerial duels. Shit, Fofana, we know he loses a lot of aerial duels on top of it. Now look what Colwell does for this football team. He covers our weaknesses. He covers our weaknesses. That's what Colwell does. When it comes, you could have Trev next to him, you could have Fofana next to him, but Colwell covers the weaknesses of the other two. That's why it worked. At the end of the season, when we were starting to progress at the end of the season last year, it's why it worked. It's why you could swap Trev for Fofana or Fofana for Trev, and it wouldn't matter because Colwell always covered their weaknesses. Always. Okay. Colwell is not here. Colwell is not here. Okay? The player that we've been linked to. Why can't I spell this morning? C Q. There we go. The player that we're talking about, what does this player do? What does this player do? Like, just look at it. He covers the weaknesses of the others. That's what he does. Like, it's that simple. It's that simple of a thought process to just be like, what's the problem with the football team? Good in the air? Are you good in the air? And can you pass? Those are the problems with our center backs. They can't pass. They can't defend aerially. What does this guy do well? It's not rocket science, guys. It's literally not rocket science. It's called a pairing for a reason. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. Ray, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Okay? So now, Ray, I think that's a great segue. That's a great segue to my next conversation. Okay? The segue to my next conversation. And the segue to my next conversation is, why don't we go older, Joe? Joe, why don't we go older? There's players like Sensi that was out there. We could have got Pacho last year. Schlotterbeck, everyone's favorite name in football, Bastoni. Let's start piling some new stat points on here. Let's bring jaquet in. Keep jaquet in. Let's bring some new stat points in. Okay. Let's bring our new stat points. Sensi, which, by the way, if anybody has heard me already talk about this subject, if anybody has heard me talk about this subject, this was the one that made the most sense. This is the one that makes the most sense to me. Now, as much as it made the most sense, the drawbacks are clear, and it does not fix our problems defensively. I don't need to say much. The data speaks for itself. What did we just say was our problems? I'm going to go back. What did we say our problems was? I'm going to keep this up. Forward passing and aerial presence. Those are the two problems we have, correct? We just said it. We just saw our starting center backs. We looked at the stats with our own eyes. We don't need to pull anything else. We've watched them with our own eyes for the last 19 weeks. We've watched these fools, both of them, as a tandem for the last 19 weeks and every other combination and above. But we know these two are supposedly our best center back tandem. Trev and Fofana, our best center back tandem. And the problems that we have with that center back tandem are listed below from Takori's chat. Aerial presence and forward passing. Now, there was something Mafia said. Guys, I'm not at the point of doing the Anselmino, the Sar. I'm not at that point yet. Let me get through my piece. Okay? Sensi, to be honest, looks like he plays midfield. These are midfielder stats. Look at the aerial duel percentage compared to the other guy. Now, realistically, we should have both of these guys. This would be a tandem that would work. These two right here. This works the best out of all of them. This tandem right here. Sensi should be replacing Tosin, realistically, is the idea. But I digress. Let's continue. Everyone's favorite German center back. Which, by the way, if you guys are new to the channel, you know I have information out of Germany. I can't spell. I told you guys I can't spell shit. Someone write how to spell Schlotterbeck in the chat. There you go. Guys, I just woke up. an hour ago. I just woke up an hour ago and I was at a wedding last night. You guys are expecting way too much from me. Way too much. People are right about Schlotterbeck. I'm going to be honest. People are very right about Schlotterbeck. The level of play that he shows on a consistent basis is impressive. I can't hate on the stats. The stats do not lie. Right? Schlotterbeck would make a lot of sense. It would. It would make a lot of sense. I'm not going to disagree with you. But I do have something that you guys might have. I do have something of a piece of information that you guys might change your mind on Schlotterbeck. Where are we here? There it is. Boom. Not only has he torn his multiple muscles in his body multiple times during this time frame, meniscus tear and 2 hamstring tears in a 4-year time frame is crazy. Okay? In a 4-year time frame. In a 4-year time frame, we had a meniscus tear and 2 hamstring tears. They won't tell you how bad those hamstring tears were, right? They won't tell you. Because one of them happened at the end of the year. Yeah, that might be a 1-game missed injury. But it was bad. It was a full tear. Don't worry, we'll use Lucaba. We'll use Lucaba. We'll do Lucaba. What was the other one? I had Bastoni and Pacho. Let's do those. Pacho, I don't want to do because he just moved to PSG last year, so he wasn't really like someone that we could go and get. So let's do Bastoni, even though I don't believe Bastoni will ever leave Inter Milan, and he'll be one team player his entire life. Let's go Bastoni. Left-footed, right? Left-footed, beautiful ball. Everyone thinks he's an unbelievable center back, right? And once again, I agree with you. But tell me, is Bastoni worth 100 million? Right? I mean, wouldn't you say Bastoni is 100 million? Okay. Would you before I do Pacho, right? Before I do Pacho. Is there that big of a difference on this graph? Which, by the way, but like, here's the problem, right? Here's the problem with this. Bastoni only plays in a back 3 on the left-hand side. Just like Jaquet plays mostly in a back three on the right hand side. So once again, I ask you. Now, by the way, Bastoni's 100 million. Is the graph that big of a difference for a 6-year gap? I'm telling you, 100 million is the only way you get Bastoni. 100, it probably is going to cost more than 100. Okay, for him to just, for not only to get him off of Inter Milan, right? It's going to cost 300,000+ to get him a week to get him, right? In a 6-year gap, is the graph that different? Don't worry, Makin. Don't worry. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. Okay, I promise. You guys that are naming all these young center backs that you guys love more than him, the Joshes and all this, I'm telling you, this has been my most impressive center back that I've watched all year. This kid's been the most impressive player I've seen all year at center back. Truly. I'm not blowing smoke that because we're linked to him. I'm doing it because I watched him. 8, 9 games. I watched them with my own 2 eyes. I watched him and Sar on the same field together, and you could see the different level of quality between the two. I watched them both with my own 2 eyes. I'm going to tell you something, Takori. Stats do not lie. As much as you want to act like they do, they don't. The positioning is not as much of a problem when you're talking about him playing in a back five. It's a big problem when you're playing in a back five. When you're having to be the front-footed player that's going up the pitch and winning the ball off of a midfielder that's in the half space. Yeah, positioning can be a problem. It's a problem for everyone. But look at him against the best center back one of the best center backs in the world. Defensive duels, possession won. They're higher than him in a similar role. In a very similar role. Defensive duels, possession won. It's higher than Bastoni. And it's a similar role. It's really like that. Like people don't want to grasp that. People don't want to grasp that. Like, this is one of them center backs that's like, he either could be absolutely like one of the best in Europe, has the tools, has the skill set to be one of the best in Europe, or he could be Badiashile. Badiashile, the problem with Badiashile though is he got injured and he became a pussy. Passing was less aggressive. Defending was less aggressive. He got that injury, became a pussy. Hopefully, that doesn't happen to this kid. He's a young Zuma. Young Zuma is a great way of describing it. When we got Zuma at that age, and he was playing under the Terrys and behind them, Cole, that shouldn't surprise you. There's a reason why we're talking about it. Like, honestly, it feels like it's going to get done. Somewhere around 50 million. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's going to be somewhere around 50 million If you want my guess, 50 to 55, something like along the lines of that. Yeah, current Zuma with knees is a great way of describing it. All right. So we went through our players, right? We went through our players, the players that we can compare him to, right? Like that we see with our own eyes and watch every single week. We saw the deficiencies and what this player covers for those deficiencies. Okay? We went through 3, 4, 5 of your favorite. We went through 3, 4, 5 of your favorite center backs. Oh, I'm Mafia. I apologize. I didn't put Pacho up. Let's put him against Pacho. Okay, let's put him same league, by the way, so it's a good comparison. And he just wants us, just so you guys can see how it sticks. He has told Renz he wants to go to Chelsea. That this is the thing. The price will eventually be negotiated, and I'm guessing it's already pretty close because of what you guys are telling us right now. Because Jaquet's not in the lineup, he's just not. So yeah, like we could do Pacho from last season. Yeah, Pacho's a but you gotta Mafia. You kind of got to think about how PSG plays too. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, right, what they do is they create scenarios where Pacho is going to be left one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like you see where I'm going with it. They create these scenarios where Pacho is left one-on-one. Marquinhos was high up the pitch. Pacho is more of their sweeper in the end. He goes and picks up the ball off of he's the last man covering majority of the time when he played. So like crazy enough, this is a good pairing. Stats would show you this is a good pairing. Yeah. So like and this was Pacho. This is and he's not a player that is a variable either. That's the nice thing about Pacho. Like he's shown himself over the last 2 years at Eintracht Frankfurt. Before that, when he was there, he was their most most stable player, and he was always in that type of 6, 7, 8 performance range. So it's immediate. Some America, I believe if Jaquet came in, it's immediate, and it's somebody else of the three knobheads that end up being sacrificed at the end of the season. But I think that's an immediate drop in. This isn't and by the way, this isn't a player who the manager doesn't know. Like this isn't someone who he doesn't know. This is someone who he knows very well, who he's had to plan against. That's all. That's all I'm saying. All right. So cool. So like I said, well, like I was doing before I missed out on Pacho. Now that I did Pacho, I'm good. But like I said, we did Jaquet versus our current center backs. We did Jaquet versus the old boys that you guys like, all the old men that you guys chose from in the chat. We did those. Now we're gonna do Jaquet versus his peers. Okay, because that's the greatest way of this. The way that you compare players normally is based off of their age. That's why you see brackets of age when you're growing up and playing football in through your adolescence. That's why there's an age bracket per U8, U9, U10, is so you can be compared versus your age bracket. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to use a few of the youngsters that are around world football, your favorite youngsters. And the first one we're going to use, is Josh Achimpong. Okay? That's the first one. Because I've been seeing a lot of shit online about our fan base who don't watch football, by the way. Okay? I'm going to tell you this right now. Our fan base does not watch football. If you watch football, that's why you're here. Because you're here because you want to learn, and you want to learn about other leagues, and that's okay. But a lot of our fan base does not watch football. Our fan base watches Chelsea Football Club. That's different. Our fan base watches the Premier League. That's different. You have to watch other leagues and see the pace of the game, the tactical styles of those leagues to understand what these players could be or they can't be. For example, this summer, everyone was telling me, Joey, why don't we go for Victor Gyökeres? He scored 100 goals. He scored 100 goals, Joe. He has to be good. With my own two eyes and my brain, all you have to understand, the first thing you have to understand about how these leagues are set up, they have rankings for these leagues. They literally have rankings for these leagues. The quality of the league is ranked. You can go and you can see Portugal's league's lower than the Brazilian league. And all I was told all summer is the Brazilian league's shit. But I watched Estival. I watched almost 20-something games of Estival last year, while he was at Palmeiras. Shit, I was probably the most capable of watching Estival. It was a normal time for me. I was capable of watching him while I was eating dinner. But then I go and I watch Victor Gyökeres, and I watch him against Casapia and Rio Ave. You know, I have Rio Ave's in my cul-de-sac. I got Rio Ave in my cul-de-sac. And those problems come around. And you see that this is the league is something that you have to consider when you have these conversations. When you're watching these players and you're watching them against the competition that they're playing against. Okay, so it's good to watch. It's good to compare them to these kind of things, right? And Josh, his stat point, and to be honest, my point, Danish, give me the spelling of Achimpong, bro. Like I said, bro, I woke up last night from a wedding. Okay, been a long morning. It's already been a morning. All right. Not enough minutes to be on data MB. Great. Cancel the subject then. We'll use Leone from last year. He's a lot younger though. See? We'll use Kubarasi. It was a Palestinian wedding. 103 days. Ordonez. Joel? I think we're spelling that wrong. Not enough minutes. Good one, Danish. Good one. Good one, Danish. Oh, Sar's in there already. Any other names we can look at before I show the stats? Mosquera. We'll do Mosquera at Valencia because he probably doesn't have enough minutes. Remind you, jaquet is in the orange. So just keep that in mind. Jaquet is in the orange. Euro. Let's do Euro. And JK, I'm not even doing the Madrid one. I'm doing the Bournemouth Huijsen. When we wanted Huijsen at his peak, which was at Bournemouth, that's what we're talking about here. Yeah, but it shouldn't take the special characters to find Ordonez. All right, no worries. I think this is good. This is going to be a big ass map now. We're going to be looking at 1, 2, 3, 7 data points. Okay, so let's go one by one. I wish I could do the. I think I gotta buy the plus for that. But I normally could separate them. That's the thing that's kind of upsetting to me. Like I could before I was capable of separating them. Okay, so let's do this. I want to do Danish's one first. Oh, we already did Colwell. We'll do Tiao. I like that one too. So we got Euro. We got Tiao. Leone. And I got a few other ones we'll do. We could do. And we'll do them in a second. Okay. Diamande, another good name. Sar. All right, cool. What do you guys see? What do you guys see? Tell me. Tell me what you guys see. I want the chat to answer these questions. What do you guys see, chat? What do you guys see? This was the A1 center back of the summer, by the way. Dean Huijsen. Everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted this guy. What are you guys seeing? Where the guy we're linked with versus the guy that we were linked with last year. What are you seeing? But Reaper, you see something though. This is the Bournemouth stats. I brought up the Bournemouth stats. I didn't do but you can see that that defensive duels, because let me do this real quick. Current Dean Huijsen. It's kind of a mid block. Hachani. It's kind of a more of like a mid block, and they're very determined on who they're playing. You see the defensive. The reason why I brought this stat up, okay? The reason I brought this up is because this is why I believe defensive duels can be a very tricky thing to. Defensive duel percentage can be a very tricky thing to keep into consideration on the stat line. I don't think it's a great way. I don't think it's a great way. I don't think it's a great way of describing or understanding how they are defensively, positionally. It's based off of how you play them. Will determine on how well they deal with their duels. Mafia, I'm going to be honest, I kind of already had that information. That's why I'm doing the stream. Okay, so next name I have on the list is Lenny Yoro. Lend me a euro, as my good friend Mons would say. By the way, jaquet and euro, the same age. I'll pull it up. I'll pull up. Good question. Yo, Takori, that's a great question. Takori, that's a fantastic question. Euro is the blue, correct, Jay? €62 million. I think VDV's too old for this conversation, but why not? There's not much to talk about Lenny Yoro. It's Van de Ven. There you are. Nah, it's Man U's version of Euro. It doesn't go 2 years. Only goes this app only goes 2 years back. I can't. I wish I could. The system only goes 2 years back. So like this this platform, unless I buy it, only gives me data from 2 years ago. There's a lot to be desired with Van de Ven's game. There's a lot to be desired with Van de Ven's game. A lot to be desired. That is also very, very, very true. That is also very true. Instantly, JJ. Instantly. In my opinion, instantly. And I think him and Colwell actually make quite a tandem. Like, like quite a tandem. Like it's truly like if I were to put it on paper, like the two together, I would compare it as close. Like the way I would compare it is probably Van Dyke Konate. Like is the best way of describing it. Like Van Dyke is more of a distributor, and I think Jaquet is a better passer than Konate currently. Like that's how much I rate Jaquet. Is I truly believe Jaquet is a better passer than Konate currently. Konate is a little bit better physically, but that's just because he's older. Like once Jaquet fills out, he's only 20. Once Jaquet fills out his body, he's gonna be. But that's how I see that tandem turning into be. Like it really, that's how I feel it being. As long as they get to grow together, that's how I see it being. Like that's the type of pairing it is. Okay, I'm not saying it's the quality level, it's the type of pairing. You have the physical beast next to the excellent distributor, right? And both of them are very good aerially. So that's that. You know what? I love that. That's a great one. That's a great one. I love that. Let's do that real quick. I love that one. That's a great one. Point very much proven. Point very much proven. Point very much proven. I'm just saying. I feel this one is a fantastic one because it proves my point. This is Konate at its best. This is Konate at his best. But stylistically, right? You're seeing some pretty similar comparisons there. Another fantastic point. Yeah, there's all right, so you guys are gonna, you guys think Murillo is way better than he is. My favorite part, JJ. Literally my favorite part. To Corey, they use him with wingbacks. To Corey, they use him with wingbacks. So they have a wingback up the pitch. And he's one-on-one on the right-hand side a lot, bro. He plays right-sided center back. That's what he has to deal with all day. This is what he deals with. And to be honest, covering wide areas isn't a problem for our football team. It just really isn't. That's not really our problem. How do we deal with the cross in the box? That's the deal. That's the real problem. System wise, we always have pretty decent cover on the fullbacks as long as it's not an early cross. Like, it's just the truth. Aerially though, I mean, you're not missing. This is what you want. This is what you want to see. A dominant aerial presence. This is the one thing that I absolutely despise about Trevor Chalobah. I despise this about Trevor Chalobah. I don't understand. Like as a defender, playing defender as a footballer, fullback mostly. Watching my center back get dunked on is the most demoralizing shit. It really is. It's so demoralizing watching your center back get dunked on. It really is. We'll see. We'll see. The thing is the difference is though revolutionary. I think is the player buy-in. Once we have player buy-in, we go in. We've seen it with a lot of the players that we've gone for. The thing is the player buy-in. The player buy-in. So basically, this is the case, Reaper. Okay. What I heard is this: is when Chelsea get a player buy-in on a guy, okay? When Chelsea get a player buy-in on a guy, it's pretty much like asking for a transfer request. Like when they say when the reports go in, they say they want Chelsea, like the fucking Garnacho situation, and unfortunately, like the Garnacho situation, he will say, Jaquet goes and says, "We want to go. I want to leave. I want to go to Chelsea this January." He's bought in. Once he's bought in, it's all about the figures and how we deliver the figures. Because a lot of times, what we'll do is we'll just spread the figures out and give them what they want, because that's just what we do. Like, think about the Jamie Gittins situation, right? In the summer, reports were he intends to join Chelsea. No, reports are he intends to join Chelsea in January. That's what the reports actually have said. Revolutionary. So yeah, I mean, technically, Paquinho, you could probably sell them Sar. You could sell them Anselmino for all you give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Is if we wait till the summer, I don't think we get him. That's the reality. Yeah, it's you get him now or you don't get him at all. That's the reality. But this is one that I would co-sign. This is truly one I would co-sign. I don't say this very often about this sporting directors, bro, but this is one I would co-sign. If you would say, Joe, you guys all are sitting here telling me, Joe, how good is this kid? He's a kid. He's 20 years old. Fucking 13 years older than him, personally. How good is this kid? I would sit here and I'll tell you, sign me, bro. Sign me up. If he's gonna be wearing blue, sign me the fuck up. That's how and that's why I did this stream. Truthfully, that's why I did this stream, because you guys know how much I hate these directors. Everyone knows that anyone who's been in this channel for long enough, has watched any of my fucking videos, know how I feel about these directors. This is one I would co-sign. Truthfully, I have enough data. I have enough visual. This is one I would co-sign. Exactly. Because I hate these directors. That's why I made the channel. I absolutely hate these directors. I made the channel so I can shit on the directors. Seriously. It's been 2 years of me just shitting on these directors since I've came on this channel. Literally. I'm Reaper, what would you say I'm at percentage-wise in my hits? Probably around 70, 80% on my hits. I don't think I'm missing on this one. I truly believe I am not missing on this. Yeah. Yeah, of course, Taji. We can definitely do that. LaCroix is one of my favorite center backs in this league. And the ones I missed on were the ones I missed on are fucking our players. And even our players, the ones I picked that the 10% that I missed on, honestly, are Delap and Gittins. Those are the two I missed on. And I'm not afraid to say it. I thought Delap and Gittins would give us way more than what they've given us already. Okay? The truth. It's just the truth. Those are the ones, and it's almost blind faith because I'm a Chelsea fan. You know, it's a little bit of blind faith in the end. I still haven't given up on Gittins. I mean, I'm gonna tell you that right now. You guys can give up on Gittins. I totally understand. Just from visually, I get it. Okay, but I have not given up on Jamie Gittins. Okay, I've not given up on Jamie Gittins. That's just plain and simple. The lap over the last 2-3 games, he's starting to show me the lap that I was looking for. The hold up, the touch, these things I needed from him. Okay? We'll see. Maybe I given up on these guys a little bit too early too, and said that their miss is a little bit too early too. But my eye don't normally lie to me. Okay? It don't normally lie to me. That's just the truth. It don't. It's a disappointing situation with them, but it normally do not lie to me. And I do think these two players, that might be a year too early, maybe. Just like a year too early. But we'll see. I'm okay with holding 2 L's out of 10. Out of 15, out of 20, because I could actually go even deeper into it if I really wanted to about the names that I've gone. But yeah, I think those were really my biggest two misses this summer. Like out of everyone else, I even hit on the players that I thought wouldn't be good too. So like the players that it's not just like, oh, I thought that this would be a good player that is my hit. Also, like the players that I thought that wouldn't be good are not good. Like Mateus Cunha. Most of you would have thought Mateus Cunha would have been an amazing player for Manchester United. I would say otherwise. And Manchester United fans outside of yesterday would have told you the same thing. You wouldn't have assumed that you wouldn't have thought that Cunha was going to be a flop. In my opinion, he's been more bang average than anybody else that we have. He's a bigger price tag than all of the ones that we bought. So he's been here in this league for 4 years now. Xavi Simons. Didn't have good hopes for him either. But I thought he would be a backup. Takori's been one of my longest subscribers. Just so you guys know, he's been one of my longest subscribers. He's been here since the day I started the channel. In the summer, what did I say? I see the same problem. I said the same thing about Verts. I was right about Verts. I was also right about Ekitike. Yeah, we'll see. I think the other problem with Cunha, in my opinion, was you assuming him playing in that inside 10 space would have allowed him to be successful, not just for you guys, but not for just Wolves, but he could translate that inside 10 position over to you guys. Where my problem is in a top team, there isn't as much defensive cover because everyone is more forward moving, right? So without an Aitanori like overlapping him, especially giving him that wide space, because realistically, Amarim played inside inverted wingbacks, so which means nobody covered the wide space. And it caused double teams for him, which caused him to lose the ball a lot more than not that I expected. I expected him to do exactly that. I also still don't believe he's like a 60 million pound player. Like, I think I think it was an overpay, personally. Still think it's an overpay. He can prove me wrong. Like I said, I've been wrong. I'm not perfect. But I've hit. The majority of the time I've spoken about things, I've hit. There's a reason why I'm one of the few Americans that are brought on channels. There's a reason. I know what I'm talking about, and I know that. So, a couple of the other names that you guys brought up. Let's go through them. Diomande was a name. Tiao was a name. Sar was a name. And Leone was a name. Those are the names we're going to do next. Which, by the way, Tiao is a very interesting prospect, in my opinion. Has a lot of good tools. Lot of good tools. But you can see the difference. This stat right here is the best stat to see if you can read how you can read the game. That is a stat that allows you to see how you read the game defensively, specifically, especially as a center back. How do you read the game? That is the stat you look at. 35, if I'm not mistaken. But Malik Tiao is like 4 years old, and he's like 4 years older than him, right? He's 4 years older than him and failed at Milan, right? Like, that's something else that you have to understand. Like, he was not a success at Milan. He was riding the bench, sitting it was like, it was a situation. Like, he was not playing. He did not play very much at all. And they already bought a new youngster, who, by the way, nobody's going to speak about until he turns for another year, probably. Next year, you guys will start hearing the name. His name's Coney DeWinter. You'll start hearing that name a lot more next year. I'm going to be so serious. He has the baggage. He has the goods. From what I've watched, he has the goods. So he just needs another year of development, in my opinion. But the winter he has the goods as well. Young Belgium center back. The winter just moved to Milan. He replaced him. Yeah, if anybody watches Milan, you guys know. If you've watched Milan, you know De Winter. He plays every game. He just played against Como the other day. Probably outplayed Ramon in that game. Bro, that's dependent on if they want to address the problems of the squad. Right? Like, the team has problems. Love this name. I brought this name up in the summer and people didn't want to hear me. Now he's a fucking name being brought up again. I said this name in the summer. I told people we could just go get this kid. He's 20-something years old. English product from Leeds. Would homegrown. Like, all of it. All of it. Yeah, if Garnacho taps the ball in, and they give us a penalty in the first minute when João Pedro gets fucking taken out. All those chances that people want to talk about, what's his face, Brentford had last night, means shit. They don't mean shit. I'm going to be honest with you. Yesterday's game, guys, if the referee calls the game the right way, We win that game 4-0. We win that game 4-0. Garnacho has a tap in back post, first minute of the game. João Pedro gets stepped on in the box. 4-0. Doesn't matter. I don't care how many chances Brentford had. They weren't scoring 4. I promise you. Garnacho has a tap in back post. First 6 minutes of the game, João Pedro. Yeah? KU. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about this. All right? Don't sleep on us in this deal. All right? I'm going to tell you this right now. From everything that I've read about this deal, okay? If Yildiz does not sign, we are front of the queue. We've been at the front of the queue for a minute. Now, the thing is there's other suitors. And these other suitors would include specifically Arsenal. Do they pay him more? Now, Arsenal specifically is they're in wage hell. People don't want to grasp that part of it, but they're in wage hell. And if they buy Hincapié at the end of the season, it gets worse for him. So, I mean, yes, do you trust this board? Absolutely not. You can't trust this board for a life of it. That's why I made this channel, so I can scream at this board all the time. But if he does not, if by the end of this summer, if by the end of January, I'd say end of February, he still hasn't signed a contract, he's moving. He's moving. Guaranteed, he's moving. He's gone. That's it. Now, do I think it's to us? I'd say a 35% chance. I'd say 30 to Arsenal. And then you could spread out the rest of the numbers as you go. I mean, it could be a very interesting summer. What was the other name that you guys wanted me to? Cresswell. This was also a name that I was okay with going for. Not as good as Jaquet, in my opinion. He's not. He's not as good as Jaquet. He's not as good as Jaquet, but in my opinion, he, from the eye test, he gives me everything that I would want. Nah, no way. No way. No. You misunderstood me. You misunderstood me. I never said anything about FFP. I didn't. I never said anything about FFP. There's a certain point, revolutionary, where the wage bracket has to start to decrease. And you're actually noticing it already. Okay? Let me give you some examples. For instance, okay? Minus the Partey situation and the situation that is going through, like that he had to go through, like minus all that, right? You went from Partey to Norgard. That difference in pay in wage structure went from 100 plus K a week down to like 50. Okay. all the other players that you keep on buying, though, are wage increases. Saka wage increase, Nani wage increase. All the new signing, all the new contracts that you're giving out, Saliba, and so forth. You haven't even paid for Hincapié yet, by the way. It once you start to see that wage increase goes to a certain point, there's going to be a certain point where you can't keep buying people with that same weight within that same wage bracket. It has to end up being some type of balance between the two. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to affect your FFP by any means. It means that potentially the reason why you couldn't buy Hincapié this summer was because how much you could spend by the end of the summer was already capped. And that's why it ended up being a loan with an option to buy. These are the things. Zubamendi is not even on 100K from my understanding, if I'm not mistaken. He's not even on 100K. These are the things that I'm talking about, right? You put Trossard on 180. I'm just saying, you guys, and I know you're not speaking specifically to me. I just want to kind of have this conversation because I don't want you to think that I'm attacking Arsenal in any other way, in a way that is disregarding the way that Berta's been moving, because I respect that man to his fullest extent after the summer and the way that he built the team. Now, the Gyökeres thing is a whole nother conversation. Don't really need to go there. But outside of that, I really respect. The fact is he kept his youngsters and still bought. That's the fact. He kept MLS. He kept Wanyeri. And he still bought in those positions. And he was capable of keeping those guys. That's impressive. That doesn't happen in every club. That doesn't. Most of the time, those kind of players, after buying Eze, after bringing in Hincapié, MLS and Wanyeri are asking for a transfer request that day. Most of the time. But he was capable of keeping those players. That's the impressive part. And I would not be surprised if he's the director that gets you your highest sale ever. I would not be surprised whatsoever if he's the director that gets you your highest sale ever. I mean, they can manage that. They can manage that still, Takore. They can manage that. Because if you look at the way that they're built, right? There's an age bracket on them right now. Their average age for that squad outside of those youngsters are somewhere around 26, 27, 28. You can loan him out twice out in the Premier League because he just signed a recent contract. You loan him out twice to the Premier League. You have him go and you do his thing. By the time he comes back after the second year, Odegaard, Eze, these guys will be in their 30s. So, like, you could make it work. You know what I'm saying? You could make it work. Oh, boy. Guys, let's get this done. What are we doing here? Let's get this done. We're almost there. All right, let's keep going in our comparisons. Let's keep going in our comparisons. Underrated player this kid is, I would say. He has, though, the same problem our center backs have. He has the same problem our current center backs have. But he's a better passer. He is a better passer. I'll tell you that. Mamadou Sarr may not be the most dominant defender. I'll give you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. But he is a good passer. This guy doing the booger T thing, son. It's crazy. AP, I would love to, but the things that I would do are reasonable. They Everything that I would say has a reason behind it, a rhyme, something along the lines of what I would want. And I think honestly, Ray, it's 4. The number is 4. 4 players away. But to go back to you, AP, these sporting directors don't move with a rhyme or reason. You know, it's like I would move with a rhyme or reason. These guys don't move with a rhyme or reason. Oh, revolutionary. If you know me, I'm saying total clear out. All of them. All the center backs that we have outside of Levi Colwell can go, including Josh Acheampong. I know that's not a popular opinion. That's not a popular opinion whatsoever, but including Josh Acheampong. Nah, I ain't terminating Lavia. I'm just getting another player. Once again, Lavia's on revolutionary. You got to kind of understand the situation with Lavia too, though. It's only on 50K. I know, but he's only on 50K. It's not like it's a lot. He's only on 50K. Okay. When he plays, unbelievable footballer. Unbelievable footballer. You got to keep that kind of talent and hope he gets healthy. That's it. Yeah, when he plays like he's a $300,000 a week player. Yeah, but Tomiyasu and Lavia, it's not the same though. It's not. I'm telling you, Revolution, it's not the same. I'm talking like Lavia has the talent to be any level of midfielder he wants to be. Like literally any level. He could be he could be Seedorf level if he wants to be. That's how highly I rate this kid. He literally has the capability of being that level of a fucking midfielder. I'm taking my chance. I'm just taking my chance. I'm not cutting my losses yet. I'm taking my chance. Nah. Nah. I'm not getting rid of Santos. Especially not with this manager. I'm definitely not getting rid of Santos with this manager. There's no way. If you're talking post this manager, maybe. But with this manager, there is zero chance I'm getting rid of Santos. Yeah, but right back is a different mid position than midfield, right? Like we're talking about this. We're talking about a player, Lavia, that has the talent to be world class. He has that type of talent to be world class. I don't believe ever Tomiyasu had even the one season that he was all right had the talent to be world class. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with it's the same thing with what was I fucking thinking of? Oh, it's the same thing as Reece James, in my opinion. And Reece is on way higher wages. Way higher wages. But you look at Reece James, anytime he plays football, you know he's like he has the talent to be world class. You want to know something? You're an Arsenal fan, revolutionary. You're an Arsenal fan. The best description of Lavia is Diaby. That's the best description. Anytime Diaby played and he was fit, awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's the best way of this. It's the best comparison, in my opinion, between the two. You know, because like you watch Diaby with your eyes. When you watch Diaby with your eyes, when he's not injured, when he wasn't injured, unbelievable footballer. What are we? Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? That's why he stayed for as long as he stayed, because you knew if you could get him healthy, you got a guy there. You know what I'm saying? It's the best comparison that you can make. Exactly. Essien, another great example. Diaby is legitly like Pogba before Pogba. That's what he was. He was that good. He was literally that good of a talent. I remember watching him play football, like I think it was a preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. And guy was crazy. He was like RLC. Strong, powerful, run with the ball, decent passer, technical. He had everything. He just couldn't stay healthy. He had the size. He had everything that you would wanted. I mean, there's going to be a point by the end of his Lavia's contract, like exactly, bro. AP, if he gained fitness, we would all lose our minds, bro, of how he plays, because we all knew. The problem is they relied on those players. I don't think we need to rely on Lavia. I just think we need to replace Enzo. I think we need to replace Enzo. And I'm a big Enzo fan. Okay, so like I don't want this to be skewed in any other way than this. Unless we play a 3-man midfield, we cannot play Enzo Fernandez. Unless we play a 3-man midfield, we cannot play Enzo Fernandez. Not in this league. Enzo Fernandez is literally the poster of a Spanish league player. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes one of the best midfielders in the world at Real Madrid I would not be surprised, guys. I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't. Because those leagues don't take the PNP. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. You don't need PNP in those leagues. He fits those other leagues. Yo, if he went to Serie A, people would be describing him as the best midfielder in the world. The way that they talk about Barea, the way that people have talked about Barea for the last 4 or 5 years, you'd be speaking about Enzo the same fucking way. I'm being serious. You guys don't want to hear it from me because he's a Chelsea fan. You see with your eyes that he's not good enough for this league. But if he went to another league, there's no question. People would absolutely be looking at him as the 100 million pound midfielder that we bought. But because he came to this league, and the physicality and the pace of this league are the two things that he lacks. is the physicality and the pace. Yeah, but Nico Paz plays the 10. You know that. He played the 8 against Milan and they didn't win. I'm telling you, if he was capable of playing in La Liga or Serie A, we would not be having the conversations we are having about Enzo Fernandez. That's just the reality. So that's why I'm saying let him go to Spain, let him go to Italy, wherever we can get the most money from. Obviously, it's probably Spain. Wherever we can get the most money from, and we need to get Adam Wharton. If anybody knows me, you know that Adam Wharton's my favorite player outside of Chelsea. You guys know that Adam Wharton's my favorite player outside of Chelsea. So that's just a personal thing. Okay. The reason why I'm saying Adam Wharton over Elliot Anderson. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this. I like this conversation. Let's continue this conversation real quick. Let me go to specifically. I don't think Elliot Anderson's as good as you guys think he is. I I think it's a product of his situation a lot of the times, and the fact of how important he is for that midfield, where there's not really as much of a balance when it comes to. No, I put it. Enzo's in here. Enzo's the green. But look who wins their duels more. You say this is the way to go, right? But look who wins their duels more. Now, this right here is the impressive part of him. The possession one, the carrying, right? The forward passes. The carrying is the part that I want the most from him because I don't even believe Enzo Fernandez is a good ball carrier. That's interesting. That's an interesting buy. I just think Elliot. You want to know something, Danish. You want to know something? If I'm if I'm a football club, I don't want to deal with Marinakis. I think that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing in my opinion for me in Danish. I truly believe that that's my biggest problem. Like, Yeah. Yeah, they actually might start throwing fists. They might actually start throwing fists, like straight up. They might actually start fighting each other. Like, like that's straight up. They literally might start fighting each other. Yeah, but profile wise, Jack, I wouldn't say injury prone. He has had quite a bit of injuries, but profile wise, he's just my favorite type of profile. He's the closest thing. He's the closest thing that I've seen to what Busquets is since Busquets. I that's the type of style of player that I love. I just love that style of player. Now, does that mean it's good fit for Chelsea? Not necessarily. Like realistically, Danish and everyone who's talking about Anderson is a better style of player. We do need a ball carrier way more than we need a passer. That's just the reality. We could use a little bit of a combo of both, but a ball carrier is so necessary for what we need right now, in my opinion. But that is that Wharton is Michael Carrick. Like if I'm Michael Carrick at United, if I'm looking for a midfielder that's exactly like me, Adam Warren. And if anybody knows how I feel about Michael Carrick, one of the most underrated footballers in this entire league ever seen. One of the most underrated footballers this league has ever seen. Michael Carrick. Um, I don't know. Because Danish, I don't think Liverpool buy a midfielder this summer. They need wingers. They need center backs. JK, they said the same motherfucking thing about Oli. All I'm saying. They said the same fucking thing about Oli. Then they go on a run. They get a Champions League. Both Tulani, both those midfielders are going to go for 100 million this summer because they're both English. Both those midfielders will go for 100 million this summer because they're both English. Well, we know that, JK. We know that. I agree. I agree. I think they're pretty interchangeable for the way that you want to build up. You could play a midfield three of all of them in Rice. It's going to be post. I mean, it's going to be World Cup tax too because they're both going to play in the World Cup. You know, it's definitely going to be World Cup tax too. I'll put Elliot. I'll put Rice and Elliot in between Wharton and have Wharton build up. Would be nasty. That's how I play 4-3-3. I play 4-3-3. Fuck the 10. If Cole Palmer don't want to play like a normal person, then fuck him. I know people really like Morgan Rogers, but Morgan Rogers is a fallacy unless he scores. He really is. He's a fallacy unless he scores. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would use Morgan Rogers as an option. But the way that I would play, the way I would move is at this current moment is I would play a midfield three. Plus, I think it benefits Saka that you play a midfield three. It gives him a little bit more space, right? You could play Morgan Rogers left wing if you want, and then invert him. Have an overlap on the left hand side with Nico O'Reilly. Works. You can rotate Jude and you can rotate Jude in that way too with Elliot Anderson. But I know Tuchel likes Elliot Anderson. But Jude hasn't played well. JK, I kind of hope he doesn't go. I kind of hope Cole doesn't go to the World Cup because he doesn't look healthy. Cole does not look healthy, bro. He just does not look healthy. I just kind of hope he doesn't go and he can rest because he hasn't rested since. But bro hasn't rested. I think Danish yesterday. I do think it's partly because he was sick. I think a lot of our players are sick, and I think honestly, I think Rossigne hinted at him and Reece James being sick yesterday. I think they hinted at it. He hinted at it, but I just don't think he's fit. Like, and being fit can be multiple different things. Being sick it means you're not going to run as much. You know what I'm saying? Bro, he needs to be in yoga daily. Like it's the only way you're gonna. Yeah, that's exactly it. So like, if I'm England, I'm playing Harry Kane. You got two runners in between Harry and Kane covering those spaces. You have Rice on one side. You could play Rogers on the left. You could play Gordon on the left. You have Nico Riley overlapping that side as well, or Lewis Hall because Lewis Hall's been hooping too. Um, then, and I think it might end up being Lewis Hall because Tuchel loves that kid. So I think it ends up. I think Lewis Hall might end up starting in the World Cup. Nah, bro, you think yoga's hilarious, but yoga's actually real. Like especially for for a groin injury, it's like the best thing that you can do for for a groin injury is yoga and getting those tendons stretched so they can be more malleable. It's actually the real thing. Who, Chelsea or England? Hmm. People really want to fucking shove Saka to doing more defensive work. I do not. That's just me. Like if I'm an England manager, I'm not putting more defensive work on Saka if I don't have to. I don't know, bro. I think this World Cup has some twists and turns that people don't realize. I think this World Cup has a little bit of twists and turns. I think there's going to be more parity than ever. The reason why I say that, the reason I say that specifically, and to my opinion, the reason I say that is I don't believe there's one nation that's really like head and above everybody else. And like Spain, you would assume so, right? But they just revamp. They're playing a back line of a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old, Kubarasi and Hoyson. Like in a one off game, you can catch those guys in a one off game. You know, Spain obviously should be the favorite based off of the way they play football. But in a one-off game against a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old in your back line at the World Cup, in like a tournament, in the tournament format, not necessarily like the group stages, but in the tournament format, you can catch those guys. Like if I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Senegal, versus Spain in a match, Senegal could win. Senegal could win. If Spain came up against Ecuador, that would be a nasty matchup for them. That would be a nasty matchup for them. That would be a nasty matchup. I don't trust France one bit. I don't trust France one bit. There's no midfield balance in France. I don't trust them. Yeah, they have the talent to get you. They have the talent in their strike force, but the last time they were in the last time they went to they were in the World Cup, Griezmann played midfield. If you guys don't remember, Griezmann played in the 8. If you don't remember, and he was brilliant, by the way. Oh, I'm aware, Logic, but on a one-off game, the way they defend, in a one-off game, the way they defend, it's Rabiot. It's gonna be Rabiot because Deschamps is a fucking lunatic. He got 90 midfielders and he got 90 midfielders and Rabiot's still his starter. Logic, can you imagine early tournament game, Ecuador gets second in their group. Ecuador gets second in their group. And they end up having to play Spain in the first round. And you got the fucking best defense in South America, best defense in probably the world, in my opinion. With Caicedo, with Caicedo, Pacho, and them man's Hincapié, Ordonez, all of them in that heat in the U.S. Danish, there's going to be some home cooking, obviously. There's going to be a little bit of home cooking, but I think Senegal pulls it off. I think Senegal pulls it off. People are underestimating. One thing I'm telling you, people are underestimating the climate during this World Cup. They're underestimating the climate. Like them South American teams have an advantage this year. Them African teams have an advantage this year. I'm just telling you. Like you think that this is a joke. The European teams are going to struggle in this cup. They are. If they do not adjust to the way that this climate is going to be, it's going to be 100 in every location, which is like 33, 34 degrees in every location that you go to. It's going to be close to 33, 34 degrees Celsius. Like, that is not something that European players have to play on a weekly basis. It's just not. And that is the weather that these players in South America and in Africa have to play in. Yeah, exactly. Zito, I'm up from that area. Don't forget, I'm originally from that area. Don't get it twisted. I'm an hour away from Toronto. It's an hour drive, hour and a half drive away from Toronto, where I'm from. I'm on the other side of the lake from Toronto. That's all it is. I'm just on the other side. Don't get it twisted. Don't forget that. Yeah. No, I do not miss the cold, Master B, at all. I do not miss it. That ass, I haven't been to fucking Rochester or Buffalo in probably like 8 years, 9 years. Yeah, I think I'm gonna close this stream out and go watch the rest of that game. I did 2 hours. So let me see who's good. Let me see who's up in Adam. Who's live? Chat, who's live? Who's live, chat? I want to go play some FIFA. I haven't played FIFA in like a week, in like the last couple days. Yeah, you guys can grab the shovels. Exactly, Eddie. You know it though. You know them South American countries will instantly, not even like instantly, they'll adapt right away. Raid Elijah. Let me see. Let me see. Hopefully we get the jaquet deal over the line. Personally, that's what I would like to see. Hopefully we get the jaquet deal over the line. Yo, Strasbourg Steve be pre like he got a schedule down, bro. He's live right now watching Paris FC. That boy live all the time. Data MB, revolutionary. That's the website. Data MB. DATA MB. Let me Data MB is the website. Good. That's the whole purpose of this conversation, was to have analysis driven conversation towards this. I don't know where Elijah is. What's Elijah's channel? I don't know if I follow him or not. What's Elijah's channel, Master B? The whole reason I used it, revolutionary. Yeah, go find it for me real quick. What's his channel name? At Elijah Police. Yeah, it's not coming up. All right, you guys are getting sent to Saeed. I don't care. Saeed's live. Go tell him Wobbs raid. Wobbs raid in the chat. I'll be live I'll be live probably playing FIFA later. So if you guys want to check it. If not, oh well. We'll see you guys later. Tell Saeed I sent you guys, and I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a good night.